Welcome, Dosto. Today we are starting with Chapter 16, Part 1, titled The Gurais Sector. This chapter focuses on one of the most critical regions during the Indo-Pak War of 1947 to 1948 and offers deep insights into the strategic operations carried out in this region. Before we dive in, I encourage you to watch all the previous videos sequentially to understand the events leading up to this chapter with proper context and logic. This channel is yours, Dosto, and we're committed to providing you with the best study material in a way that's easy to understand and remember. To make concepts simpler, we've added operational art relevance, detailed charts, and maps. But we need your support, so please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more quality content. Dosto, I hope you've been keeping up with the questions we've discussed in the previous videos. Time flies, and if you're not practicing regularly, you might feel like you're lagging behind. Those of you who have finished the book should also revisit the question-answer sections we provide. If you've already written your answers, please upload them in the comments section so we can make this an interactive session. Even if your answers aren't perfect, that's okay. Practice makes perfect, and the goal is to get them right in the exams. Before we dive into today's content, let's look at the key questions you'll need to answer. These questions are carefully designed to help you prepare for exams, so make sure to underline the key parts of the question mentally and try answering them yourself. Here are the questions for today. Question 1. How did the geography and terrain of Gurais contribute to its strategic importance and influence military operations in the region? 2. What challenges did Indian forces face during the initial infiltration by raiders, and how did they respond to regain control of the area? 3. How did both Indian forces and raiders prepare for the spring 1948 conflict, and what role did reinforcements and tactics play in shaping their strategies? 4. Analyze the key factors behind the successful Indian advance at Tragbal, focusing on the role of air support, artillery, and ground tactics. Question 2. 1. How did Indian troops prepare for Operation Eraze, and what challenges did they face in adjusting to mountainous terrain and supply logistics? 2. What was the strength and disposition of the raiders defending Gurais, and how did their preparations shape Indian operational planning? 3. How did the capture of Rajdhani Pass contribute to the success of Operation Eraze, and what tactics were employed to counter the raiders' counterattacks? 4. Analyze the application of operational art principles during Operation Eraze. Discuss the relevance of logistics in maintaining supply lines and supporting the offensive, maneuver in selecting routes and maintaining the element of surprise, deception in misleading the enemy regarding the scale and direction of the assault. Why was the recapture of Gurais critical for restoring Indian control over the northern sector, and how did it align with the broader strategic objectives of the war? Question 3. 1. How did Indian forces plan and execute the offensive on 25th June 1948 during Operation Eraze? 2. What were the key factors that contributed to the capture of Menon Hill, Shete Hill, Ferris Hill, and Viji Pass? 3. What are the key takeaways from this operation? Friends, please try answering these questions in your own words and keep your responses to the point. If you find them challenging, go through the video and then give it a try. Upload your answers in the comments section, and our team will help you if needed. Even a wrong answer is a step forward in learning. Now, let's dive into Chapter 16, the Gurais sector, and understand its strategic importance and the operations that shaped this historic campaign. Dosto, as we begin Chapter 16, Part 1, let's first explore the topography and strategic importance of the Gurais sector. The region's geography plays a crucial role in its significance during the Indo-Pak War of 1947 to 1948. Let's break it down step by step. Geography of Gurais. Location. Gurais is situated in the upper valley of the Kishanganga River, located north of Srinagar. Tributaries meeting near Gurais. Tilal originates from the east and flows toward Gurais. Burzil originates from the north near the Viji Pass. Flow of Kishanganga River. The Kishanganga River flows westward, then turns southward, eventually merging with the Jhelum River near Muzaffarabad. This strategic geography makes Gurais a critical link between the northern regions and the Kashmir Valley. Its proximity to infiltration routes and key river systems elevated its importance in the conflict. In the next segment, we'll analyze how this terrain influenced military operations and shaped the strategies of both Indian forces and raiders. Dosto, the terrain of Gurais played a pivotal role in its strategic importance during the conflict. The valley is a deep gorge with precipitous cliffs and snow-clad hills, making movement challenging and defense critical. Surrounding the valley are key geographical features that added to its significance. To the south, there's a forested range with peaks like Kishore, Handamanga, and Hant, while the north features bare cliffs such as Anjbari and Durmat, backed by the majestic Himalayan range culminating in Nanga Parbat. In the west, the Bagta region forms a natural choke point where the Kishanganga River takes a northward turn. To the east, the Himalayan range leads to Dras and the Leh caravan route, making it vital for communication and logistics. At the heart of this region is the Gurais village, located on the south bank of the Kishanganga River. This small settlement is surrounded by fertile plains stretching 3 kilometers wide and 13 kilometers long, with essential infrastructure like a rest house, inspection bungalow, and communication links. Gurais served as a critical junction for routes to Srinagar, Leh, Muzaffarabad, and Sonmarg, cementing its importance for military operations and control over the northern sector. This terrain was not only breathtaking, but also a battlefield where strategy and geography intertwined. Dosto, let's understand the hostile infiltration in the Gurais area by visualizing how geography and strategic movements shaped the conflict. After the fall of Muzaffarabad on 22 October 1947, raiders gained access to the Kishanganga Gorge, using it as a route to infiltrate Gurais. They also entered through the Kupwara Valley and Tragbal Pass, eventually reaching Bandipur, threatening the approaches to Srinagar. However, Indian forces launched effective counterattacks, recapturing Baramulla and blocking Bandipur, which forced the raiders to retreat to Gurais. On 1st November, the situation worsened with the fall of Gilgit due to treachery, allowing raiders to use the Viji Pass for further incursions into Gurais. By the end of November, heavy snowfall sealed the Rajdhani Pass, cutting off Gurais from reinforcements and isolating the region until spring. As we can see, the fall of Muzaffarabad and Gilgit opened critical routes for the raiders, while the geography, particularly the harsh winter conditions, played a decisive role in shaping the timeline of events. Dosto, let's now simplify what we've discussed using a chart. The goal is to make it easier for you to understand and retain the key points. Pause the video if needed and try to relate the chart with the map we just reviewed. This way, you'll have a complete grasp of the movements and strategies. Let's take a look. Dosto, this chart helps you visually connect the timeline and key events we've discussed so far. Always try to relate what you learn through maps and charts for better understanding. If you're finding this content helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates us to keep bringing you the best learning material in the easiest way possible. Let's move to the next segment. Dosto, let's now dive into the spring 1948 preparations for conflict. And to make it even simpler, we'll explain this using a flowchart. This will help you visualize how both the raiders and Indian forces geared up for the battles ahead. Let's break it down step by step. Raider activity. By mid-April 1948, the raiders had significantly reinforced their presence in the Gurais region, increasing their strength to approximately 500 troops, bolstered by reinforcements from Gilgit. They were well equipped with 3-inch mortars, light machine guns, LMGs, and further supported by deserters from the state forces and the Gilgit Scouts. Around 300 additional Gilgit Scouts under Major Hassan arrived at Tragbal, signaling broader plans to extend their operations to Dras and Kargil. This build-up of manpower and firepower highlighted their intention to launch a more aggressive offensive in the coming months. 2. Indian response. In response to the raider activity, the 2nd Battalion of the Bihar Regiment was mobilized. 2 companies were moved to Shingar on 11th April, and D Company advanced to Bandipur on 15th April, establishing a strong base across the Madhumati stream. From these positions, Indian patrols became highly active in areas like Tragbal and Atvattu, disrupting raider movements and their broader plans. This proactive strategy ensured that the raiders were under constant pressure and had less room to maneuver freely in the region. Dosto, this flowchart helps simplify the preparations for the spring 1948 conflict, showing how both sides strengthened their positions. The raiders received critical reinforcements and weapons, while Indian forces moved swiftly to counter their plans with proactive patrols and strategic positioning. If you think this format makes your learning easier, let us know in the comments section. We're committed to helping you understand these topics in the simplest way possible. And yes, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more such content. Let's move on to the next segment. Dosto, to simplify the key events of the tactical engagements and Indian advances, let's visualize this through a flowchart. This will help you understand the sequence of events and how Indian forces successfully pushed back the raiders at Tragbal. Let's break down the tactical engagements and Indian advances into 3 clear sections: escalation, Indian advances, and outcome. This structured approach will help you understand the sequence of events and their significance. Let's start. Escalation. The conflict began with raider harassment at Bandipur and Point 6115, where they used mortars and light machine guns, LMGs, to disrupt Indian positions. On 19th April, Indian patrols launched counteractions near Tragbal, capturing 3 enemy guides. This provided critical intelligence on raider positions and their strength, setting the stage for further action. 2. Indian advances. On 25th April, a strong Indian patrol of 4 platoons under Captain Colonel Senha advanced toward Tragbal. The raiders attempted resistance using 3-inch mortars, but their fire was silenced by Indian artillery and mortar support, showcasing superior fire coordination. The Royal Indian Air Force, RIF, provided accurate strafing and bombing, which further disrupted the raiders and ensured a smooth Indian advance. 3. Outcome. Facing heavy pressure, the raiders fled toward the Rajdhani Pass, abandoning ammunition and equipment in their retreat. Tragbal was captured by Indian forces, gaining control over the wide, level ground without encountering significant opposition, marking a major tactical victory. Dosto, by dividing this into escalation, Indian advances, and outcome, we can clearly see how Indian forces used a combination of ground troops, artillery, and air support to achieve their objective. This structured approach ensured a decisive victory at Tragbal. If this explanation helps, let us know in the comments section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's move to the next topic. Dosto, let's now analyze the events at Gurais and Tragbal through the lens of operational art. By drawing comparisons with military doctrines from Napoleon's campaigns, Prussian-German tactics, and Soviet deep operations, we'll uncover timeless principles that shape the success of Indian forces. Let's break it down. 1. Napoleon and the dawn of operational warfare. The control of Gurais routes and fertile plains reflects Napoleon's principle of securing geographic choke points to dominate critical supply and communication lines. Just like Napoleon emphasized holding decisive terrain to disrupt enemy operations, the Indian recapture of Tragbal ensured control over a strategic choke point. This not only disrupted raider activity, but also opened the way for further advances into the Gurais sector. 2. Prussian-German operational art. The raiders' use of the Kishanganga River Gorge and the surrounding terrain for infiltration mirrors the Prussian emphasis on leveraging natural geography for both offense and defense. At the same time, The Indian advances, supported by artillery and air power, demonstrate the disciplined and systematic use of firepower to neutralize fortified positions. This approach aligns with Prussian operational principles, where coordinated attacks were key to dislodging well-defended enemies. 3. Tsarist and Soviet Operational Art, 1853 to 1991. The raiders' multi-pronged infiltration via Gurais Pass and Tragbal Pass reflects the Soviet-style deep operations, where simultaneous advances through strategic choke points were employed to achieve operational depth. Indian forces countered this strategy by deploying active patrols and using artillery-supported advances to disrupt the raiders' consolidation efforts. This approach echoes the Soviet principle of using firepower and maneuver to nullify enemy momentum and regain control of critical terrain. Dosto, as we've seen, the events at Gurais and Tragbal embody the timeless principles of operational art, where geography, logistics, and firepower converge to shape outcomes. The success of Indian forces in securing key terrain and disrupting raider operations demonstrates the importance of these principles, which remain relevant even today. If you're enjoying these insights, please let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Dosto, now let's move to the next critical phase, preparations for the offensive, Operation Eraze. This operation was a turning point in the Gurais sector, where Indian forces meticulously planned to regain control over key terrain. With careful coordination of troops, artillery, and air support, Indian forces aimed to disrupt raider strongholds and restore dominance in the region. Let's dive deeper into the strategies and execution of this historic offensive. Stay tuned. Dosto, to understand the preparations for the offensive Operation Eraze, let's break it down into a flowchart that shows how Indian troops were deployed systematically for this critical operation. This visual approach will make it easier for you to grasp the details. Let's take a look. Dosto, to understand the preparations for the offensive Operation Eraze, let's look at the systematic deployment of Indian troops. In May 1948, the 1 Indian Grenadiers replaced the 2nd Battalion Bihar Regiment, with a full battalion deployment completed by 15th May. The troops were strategically stationed at key locations to ensure maximum efficiency. The battalion HQ and 2 companies were positioned at Tragbal, a critical choke point for overseeing operations. 1 company, minus 1 platoon, was deployed at Atwatu to monitor and disrupt raider activity in the area. Meanwhile, 1 platoon and the administrative company were stationed at Bandipur to secure supply lines and provide logistical support. This carefully planned deployment ensured that Indian forces were well positioned to launch the offensive effectively. Let's move on to the next segment and see training and adaptation. Let's now discuss the training and adaptation phase during the preparations for Operation Eraze, where Indian troops adjusted to the challenges of mountainous warfare. Although these soldiers were primarily trained for tank support, they quickly adapted to the rugged terrain of Gurais through intensive patrolling and acclimatization. To ensure logistical support in this challenging environment, mule convoys were used to transport supplies, while a crucial jeep track to Tragbal was completed on 21st May 1948, significantly improving supply efficiency. This adaptation was key to preparing the troops for the tough battles ahead. Let's move to the next segment and explore how these preparations contributed to the success of the operation. Let's now take a closer look at the enemy preparations for Operation Eraze using a flowchart divided into 3 key sections: weapons used, 3 battalions, and key defensive positions. This visual format will help you understand the raider strength, weaponry, and strategic deployment. Let's take a closer look. 1. Weapons used. The raiders were well equipped with light machine guns, LMGs, and medium machine guns, MMGs, for close range and suppressive fire. 3-inch and 4.2-inch mortars, which provided effective firepower for defending key positions. 2. 3 battalions. Total force strength, approximately 3 battalions, including 300 Gilgit scouts under Major Hassan, forming a highly mobile and specialized unit. Command structure. Overall command was held by Colonel Aslam Pasha, operating from the headquarters at Chilam Chowk. 3. Key defensive positions. Raiders strategically deployed forces to defend critical routes leading to Gurais, including Kanjalwan, Malak Kadal, Khapur, Badwan, and Darikhun Gali. These positions served as choke points, making it challenging for Indian forces to advance without sustained combat. Dosto, as this flowchart shows, the raiders were not only well-armed but also strategically deployed across key defensive positions to protect the routes to Gurais. Their strength, bolstered by experienced commanders like Colonel Aslam Pasha and Major Hassan, posed a significant challenge to Indian forces. Dosto, the Indian objectives during Operation Eraze were clear and focused, aimed at recapturing Gurais and disrupting the raiders' defenses. The primary goal was to reclaim Gurais, a strategically critical region that controlled key routes to Srinagar and Leh. To achieve this, the immediate objective was to secure the Rajdhani Pass, a vital choke point essential for launching further offensives. On 27 May, Delta Company of 1 Indian Grenadiers advanced to Rajdhani Pass and occupied it without encountering resistance, successfully securing a key position. The following day, on 20th May, the raiders launched a counterattack to retake the pass. However, Indian forces repelled the assault, inflicting heavy casualties on the raiders, including 15 killed and 20 wounded, among them Major Hassan, who was severely injured. The capture and defense of Rajdhani Pass marked a critical milestone, giving Indian forces a strong foothold for their next offensive operations. Dosto, during the preparations for Operation Eraze, the Indian forces implemented a combination of supply stockpiling and deception tactics to ensure the success of their offensive. Over a period of 2 weeks, supplies were transported to Rajdhani Pass using mule convoys to sustain the troops for upcoming operations. Interestingly, these convoys operated openly during the day, creating an illusion of routine activity and misleading the raiders about the scale and timing of the offensive. This clever use of deception played a critical role in catching the enemy off guard and setting the stage for the next phase of the campaign. Let's move on to see route selection. An important aspect of Operation Eraze was the route selection, which played a crucial role in ensuring the success of the offensive. 2 routes were considered. The Kanjalwan route offered easier access but was highly vulnerable due to a key bridge over the Kishanganga River, making it prone to enemy attacks. On the other hand, the Viji Gully route was a difficult goat track, requiring immense effort to navigate, but it offered the element of surprise and faced less resistance. Recognizing its strategic advantage, Lieutenant Colonel Rajendra Singh selected the Viji Gully route, ensuring a tactical edge for Indian forces during the operation. This decision highlights the importance of balancing risks and rewards in military strategy. Let's simplify the critical decision of route selection using a chart. This will help you visually connect the strategic thought process behind choosing the right path for Operation Eraze. Let's take a look. As you can see from the chart, the decision to choose Viji Gully demonstrates the importance of strategic thinking in military operations. This choice gave Indian forces the edge they needed to surprise the raiders and avoid heavy resistance. Let us know in the comments if these visuals are helping you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Dosto, let's move to the final planning and reinforcements for Operation Eraze, where everything was meticulously organized to ensure success. The operation was scheduled to begin on 25th June 1948, D-Day, with a series of reinforcements and support systems in place. The 2x4 Gorkha rifles joined the operation, taking over key positions at Atwattu to free up forces for the offensive. Artillery support was provided by the Patiala Mountain Battery, which was strategically deployed to Tragbal to bolster firepower. Additionally, air support was arranged for D-1, 24th June, D-Day, 25th June, and the days that followed, ensuring Indian forces had comprehensive coverage and coordination across all phases of the operation. Dosto, these preparations highlight the importance of coordination, reinforcements, and firepower in military success. Let's now focus on the roles assigned during the final planning and reinforcements for Operation Eraze. The strategy relied on a well-coordinated approach to achieve maximum impact. The 2x4 Gorkha rifles were tasked with attacking Charpathar on D-1, 24th June. This maneuver on the left flank was designed to divert enemy attention and weaken their defenses ahead of the main assault. On D-Day, 25th June, the 1 Indian Grenadiers advanced via the challenging Viji Gully route, leading the main assault on Gurais. This route was chosen for its element of surprise and strategic positioning. Dosto, this division of roles ensured that Indian forces could execute a diversionary attack while maintaining focus on their primary objective. Let's simplify the final planning and reinforcements for Operation Eraze using a chart. This visual will help you clearly understand the roles assigned to the units and their objectives. Let's take a look. As this chart shows, the strategy behind Operation Eraze was based on teamwork and precise execution. The Gorkha rifles played a crucial diversionary role, while the Indian Grenadiers spearheaded the main assault. If these visuals are making the concepts clearer for you, let us know in the comments section. Dosto, let's now understand the strategic importance of the recapture of Gurais during Operation Eraze. This wasn't just a tactical victory, but a crucial step toward achieving broader strategic goals. The recapture of Gurais was vital for securing communication and supply lines in the Kishanganga Valley, ensuring better logistical support for Indian operations. It also marked a critical milestone in restoring Indian control over the northern sector, strengthening the defense of Kashmir and cutting off raider advances in this region. Dosto, the significance of Gurais extended far beyond the battlefield, making it a key focus of the campaign. Dosto, let's analyze Operation Eraze through the lens of operational art by drawing parallels to military doctrines from American, Israeli, and Chinese principles. These perspectives offer deeper insights into how strategy and execution were intertwined during the operation. Let's break it down step by step. 1. American Operational Art, 1917 to 2008. The success of Operation Eraze lies in its seamless integration of air support, artillery, and infantry, which aligns with the American principle of combined arms coordination. The diversionary attack by the 2/4 Gorkha rifles at Charpathar to distract the raiders perfectly reflects the American emphasis on the synchronization of efforts to achieve operational objectives. The carefully planned timing and multi-dimensional approach ensured Indian forces maintained the upper hand. 2. Israeli Operational Art, 1948 to 2008. The selection of the challenging Viji Gully route for the main assault embodies Israeli operational art, which emphasizes exploiting difficult terrain to achieve surprise and tactical advantage. Indian forces' aggressive patrolling and their rapid adaptation to the harsh mountainous environment highlight the importance of initiative and terrain mastery to core principles of Israeli operations. These strategies disrupted the raiders' defenses and ensured a decisive Indian advance. 3. Chinese Way of War. The raiders' use of local terrain knowledge and fortified positions reflects the Chinese principle of leveraging geography for defense. However, Indian forces countered this by focusing on deception and surprise, especially through the Viji Gully route, which used the raiders' own assumptions against them. This approach aligns with the counter-principle of using the enemy's expectations to achieve operational superiority and turn the tide of battle. Dosto, as we've seen, Operation Eraze demonstrates timeless principles of operational art, blending coordination, terrain mastery, and deception into a cohesive strategy. These lessons remind us of the importance of adaptation and creative planning in overcoming complex challenges. If you're enjoying this analysis, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Dosto, we've now reached the most exciting part of this video. The attack begins. Operation Eraze. This is where all the careful planning, strategic deployment, and tactical precision come together in action. Indian forces launched their offensive with a combination of surprise, firepower, and determination, aiming to reclaim Gurais and secure the northern sector. Now, let's dive in and understand this historic operation in detail. Stay tuned. Dosto, before the main attack of Operation Eraze, Indian forces engaged in meticulous preparations during the prelude to the attack from 23 to 24 June 1948. Let's understand how this phase set the stage for success. The two forts Gorkha rifles were concentrated at Rajdhani Pass by 23 June, positioning themselves for the offensive. To weaken the enemy's defenses, the Patiala Mountain Battery began targeting the raiders' left flank, carefully avoiding fire toward Kuljan to maintain the element of surprise. However, low-hanging clouds made it impossible for the Royal Indian Air Force (RAF) to provide air support during this phase. Despite this, the precise artillery bombardment and troop deployment ensured that Indian forces were ready to launch a decisive assault while keeping their strategy concealed. Dosto, this preparation phase highlights the importance of stealth and timing in military operations. Dosto, let's now discuss the significant events of D1, 24th June 1948, the day before the main assault of Operation Eraze. To make it easier, we'll divide the events into what happened in the early morning, mid-morning, and afternoon. Let's break it down. Early morning. C Company, 2 Forts Gorkha Rifles launched an early morning offensive, advancing to Danbihan. The position was captured with minimal casualties, setting the tone for the day's operations. Mid-morning. C Company, 1 Indian Grenadiers pushed forward to Charpatha, executing a well-coordinated assault. Their success was supported by accurate fire from mountain guns, which suppressed enemy resistance and cleared the path for their advance. Afternoon. The Royal Indian Air Force (RAF) joined the effort with Tempest aircraft, strafing enemy positions. A key target was Menon Hill, PT 12897, a critical tactical point. The airstrikes disrupted the raiders' defenses, paving the way for the next phase of the operation. Dosto, as we can see, D1 was a day of systematic advances and coordinated firepower, setting the stage for the main assault on D-Day. With infantry, artillery, and air support working in harmony, Indian forces made significant progress. Let's move forward to see how the momentum carried into D-Day. Dosto, let's now focus on the main assault that took place on D-Day, 25th June 1948, during Operation Eraze. This was a pivotal day, where Indian forces executed their well-coordinated offensive to secure key objectives and break enemy defenses. Let's understand the events in detail. The key objectives on D-Day were the capture of Menon Hill, Shete Hill, and Ferris Hill, which were critical to securing the route through Kuljan for the main advance into Gurais. The day began with a company of 1 Indian Grenadiers launching an attack on Menon Hill at dawn, following a challenging, rain-soaked night march. The enemy, about 1 company strong, was equipped with MMGs and mortars, but they were caught by surprise. Unable to resist the Grenadiers' assault, the raiders fled, leaving the hill under Indian control. Meanwhile, B Company of 1 Indian Grenadiers, led by Captain Shete, advanced early in the morning toward Shete Hill. By 1100 hours, the hill was successfully secured. The momentum continued as D Company pushed toward Ferris Hill despite facing harsh snow conditions. The enemy positions on Ferris Hill opened intense MMG fire, making the advance challenging, but D Company held their ground and successfully dug in, establishing a strong defensive position. Dosto, this coordinated assault on D-Day demonstrates the exceptional discipline and determination of the Indian forces. By securing these key hills, they opened the route for further advances. Dosto, let's now simplify the main assault on D-Day, 25th June 1948 with this flowchart. No long explanations, just the highlights for quick understanding. चलिए देखते हैं. Key objectives: capture Menon Hill, Shete Hill, and Ferris Hill to secure the Kuljan Gully route for the main advance. 1. Capture of Menon Hill. A company, 1 Indian grenadiers attacked at dawn. Enemy, surprised, fled, and the hill was secured. 2. Capture of Shete Hill. B Company, 1 Indian grenadiers secured Shete Hill by 1100 hours. 3. Capture of Ferris Hill. D Company, 1 Indian grenadiers advanced despite snow and heavy MMG fire, held their position and dug in. Dosto, this flowchart gives you the zest of D-Day in a crisp and clear way. Let's now look at how Indian forces strengthened their positions during the consolidation and night of 25-26 June. This phase was crucial in maintaining the momentum gained on D-Day and preparing for further advances. After successfully capturing Menon Hill, Shete Hill, and Ferris Hill, Indian troops worked to consolidate their positions on these strategic heights. C Company of 1 Indian Grenadiers, having played a key role in the assault, returned to Kuljan Gully to regroup and rest in preparation for the next phase of operations. Meanwhile, mountain guns were painstakingly hauled forward over steep and dangerous tracks, ensuring that artillery support could be provided for the subsequent offensives. This consolidation ensured that the Indian forces remained firmly in control of the battlefield, ready to press on with the operation. Dosto, this phase shows the importance of stability and preparation after successful attack. Let's move forward to see how Indian forces continued their advance. Let's now discuss the critical advance to Viji Pass, 26th June 1948, a key milestone in Operation Eraze. This phase focused on securing Viji Pass and its flanking peaks, ensuring a stronghold for further advances toward Gurais. The objective was to capture Viji Pass along with its flanking peaks, Sausage Hill, 3,985 meters, and Camel Ridge, which were essential for dominating the area. The assault on the flanking peaks began with C Company, led by Major Ferns, capturing Sausage Hill after a determined advance. Meanwhile, B Company, under Captain Shete, successfully captured Camel Ridge, overcoming resistance with support from mortars and a lone RIF Tempest, which provided precise and morale-boosting airstrikes. Once the flanking peaks were secured, D Company advanced to the top of Viji Pass, consolidating the position by 1200 hours. This achievement allowed the Grenadiers to hold the pass and paved the way for further operations toward Gurais. Dosto, the capture of Viji Pass was a game-changer, giving Indian forces a decisive tactical advantage. Dosto, before we wrap up today's part, let's quickly go over the key takeaways from this phase of Operation Eraze. These lessons highlight what worked and how Indian forces achieved their objectives. Superior coordination. The effective use of infantry, artillery, and even limited air support ensured that Indian forces maintained steady progress despite challenging terrain and enemy resistance. Enemy weakness. The raiders were unprepared for the well-coordinated and determined Indian assaults, forcing them to abandon key positions and exposing their vulnerabilities. Strategic gain. The capture of Viji Pass was a major strategic achievement, as it secured a critical route for Indian forces, paving the way for their advance toward Gurais and establishing dominance in the region. Dosto, these key takeaways show the importance of planning, coordination, and determination in military success. Dosto, as we wrap up this part of Operation Eraze, let's analyze it through the lens of operational art, drawing insights from key military doctrines. This helps us understand the strategic brilliance of Indian forces and how their actions reflect timeless principles of warfare. Let's break it down. 1. Tsarist and Soviet Operational Art, 1853 to 1991. The multi-axis assaults on Menon Hill, Shete Hill, and Viji Pass align with the Soviet principle of deep operations, where layered attacks are designed to disrupt enemy defenses and secure operational depth. Indian forces' determination to press forward despite harsh weather conditions showcases the Soviet emphasis on persistence to achieve breakthroughs. 2. Operational Art and Britain, 1909 to 2009. The use of mountain guns hauled over steep tracks and the reliance on RAF Tempests for close air support mirror British experiences in adapting firepower to rugged terrains. The ability of Indian forces to operate effectively in snow-clad hills highlights the British operational focus on logistical and tactical adaptation in high-altitude warfare. 3. American Operational Art, 1917 to 2008. The integration of infantry, artillery, and limited air support during the assault on Viji Pass reflects the American principle of combined arms coordination. The timely use of air strikes on Menon Hill boosted morale and ensured operational success, emphasizing the importance of air-ground synchronization for achieving decisive outcomes. Dosto, this analysis shows how Indian forces executed their plans with a blend of persistence, adaptation, and coordination, embodying lessons from the world's greatest military doctrines. If you enjoyed this breakdown, let us know in the comments section. And just a reminder, Dosto, don't forget to answer the questions given at the start of the video. This will not only help you understand the chapter better, but also prepare you effectively for exams. Also, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next part. Jai Hind.